All right. So I think everything's good. So, hey guys, so I am going to be just sharing some ways to create some graphics on here. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm first going to show you how to erase a background from a photo. And then I'll be going to mostly sharing things on Canva because that's where I do most of my things. It's free. And yeah, I'll just kind of show you as I go along. So I'm going to go to PicMonkey and start there. And if anyone hops on and they don't see what I'm doing, then just let me know. Because sometimes it shows a little differently. So I just wanted to make sure you guys can see. So PicMonkey, there's free options and there's paid options. So I sometimes use PicMonkey. I like to use this for erasing backgrounds. There's a few other websites that do it as well. So I can share those when I do the document that I make with all of my favorite apps and websites and things like that. All right, so. All right, so I went to design at the top, and then you're just gonna go over here and click transparent canvas, and you're gonna see like these checkboards. So then you hit apply, and then you're over here on the left, there's a little butterfly that says overlays. And then at the top, it's going to give you all these options that you can do, but at the top it says add your own. So you click there and just choose my computer, and you're going to choose, so whatever photo it is that you have that you want to use. So let's see. I had one ready, but maybe it's at the bottom. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to pick this one with me and Cash. Okay, so you can make it bigger, whatever size that you want. And so then you're going to see the picture there. Over on the right-hand side, you can see this overlay basic eraser. So you're going to click eraser. And then this is going to show you like this little ball, if you can see this, my icon. That changes that size. So you can see how it gets bigger. And then eraser hardness is like how sharp it is. So it's going to take some playing around with what you like. I generally go down on this, so that way, like, if my line isn't super sharp, it won't really look bad if I like kind of not get it exactly right. And then I usually have this just kind of somewhere in the middle. But if you have like a huge space that you want to take out, you can just make it as big as you want. It's when you're going to really trace your profile that you would probably want it a little smaller. So I'll kind of show you guys here how big it is. So you just start coloring in basically what it is that you don't want. And I just go, and I'll do this kind of quickly so it won't be perfect. Just you guys aren't on here forever, since I want to go to Canva too. So you would use like a bigger one to do all the outside. And then you could go to smaller when you had to get like more specific, like really close to where you're going. So I'll just kind of go around. And you'll see like the first few times you do it, when you save the image, you may see like that you miss spaces, and you just kind of learn what to do. So if the eraser is really soft, it's not going to show as, so if you miss a little bit, it's not going to seem so obvious. If you have the eraser harder, it's going to be like really sharp. So then the line is more definitive. So I'm just going to do this quick. Get around his little feet. And you can kind of decide like what you want. Like I'll just keep there in between my legs. And then, okay. So you can kind of see like once, right before you save it, you just want to make sure that wherever you see white, you just want to get rid of it. So I can see some there, and just do like a quick browse through. Sometimes it's easy to miss. And I'll actually show you what to do if you erase too much. Okay, so like, let's say I went like that, I erased his hand, and I wanted that in. You would click the little brush, and you would draw back over it, and it's gonna give you that back. So whatever you go back over, it's gonna give you back, so see. So I'll go back to the eraser. Okay, so you guys get the point. It's pretty clear. Okay, his hair might look a little funny, but that's okay. So then you want to save this. So you go up to the top left, and I hit save, and then it'll ask you what you want to name it. So I'll just write Cash Me Selfie. Save. And then you're going to want to export it so that you can save it to your computer so that you can use it in an image to create. You're going to want to save it as a PNG so that way it keeps the background gone. So you hit export, and you can see up here, Cash Selfie, PNG. The other option is JPEG, but you want to do PNG. Export to your computer, and then it'll ask you where you want it. So I'll just save it to my desktop. All right. So now, I'm gonna X out of, go to Canva. And if anyone that's on, if you start to not see what I'm doing, just unmute yourself and let me know, because sometimes it's hard to know what you guys can see. So now I'm in Canva. So Canva also has free and paid options. I sometimes will pay to buy an image, but for the most part, I use everything free. I know that there's some great options if you want to pay for it as well. So just create a login, and then it's going to have all these options at the top. So what you would use a lot of: social media, Facebook post. But if you hit more over here on the right side, it gives you tons of options. So I've used A4 for or Poster. I've done ebooks and to make freemiums. So there's all different options. Just scroll down, and I know that there's ones for Facebook ads down here, YouTube, thumbnails. And if you're not sure what size, like if you can't find something you need, they have ones for Facebook covers. There's so many different like templates that you probably can just use. But if you really needed to make one, so like if you Googled YouTube thumbnail and you knew the dimensions, you would just use customized dimensions, and you can put in what you need here. So you can use pixels, millimeters, or inches, and then design it. So you can always create your own size too if you're making a Facebook ad and you need something specific that you don't see on here. So I'll just do a Facebook post, since that's what a lot of us are doing. All right. So there's going to be all these options over on the left-hand side. There's going to be layouts. I'm going to make this a little smaller just in case. I want to make sure you guys can see everything you need to. Layouts, elements, text, background, and uploads. So it's going to give you tons of options for layouts. It'll tell you if it's free or if it costs $1. So a lot of times for the $1, you only get 24 hours use. Or if you pay, I think it might be $10, you can buy the image. Don't quote me on that, but it's a little more if you want it like forever. So there's all options. If you want to use a free one, then you can change anything that you want. So anything that you see on here, like if you just wanted it to be the notebook paper, you can delete all of this. If you pick one that costs money, you're going to see these lines through it, and it'll say Canva. So the watermark is on there. And then when you go to purchase it, to download it, it will ask you to pay the $1. So it depends on what you're doing. If you want something that already has some type of a template on here, then it's like a cool way to, it already has the cool fonts. It already has things that go well together. So that's a great option. So if you just want like a plain color background, you can go to background, and there's different colors here at the top. And then again, there's free like design. So if you want something that's really fun, so I'm just going to delete all these. Just refresh. If you want something that's fun, then you can choose, you know, any of these backgrounds. Usually, for the most part, for what I'm doing, I just want a plain background because it's like kind of busy. So it depends again on what you're doing. So I'll just create one with the one, I don't know why it's still doing, it must think that I want that one. So if you click what you have and then you just hit the delete, that they go away as well, or up with the trash. Okay. So I'll pick a just black background. So to upload your image first, if you hit uploads, it's going to give you, these are all the images I've ever uploaded on here. If you hit the green button that says upload, and then you go to your PNG, wherever it was. Let's see. Okay. So you'll see that it starts to pop up, and you have to wait until the green line goes all the way through, and that way you know it uploaded okay. And this little arrow that's like floating, once that gets all the way, it should be uploaded all the way. So when you click on images, I can just show you in the meantime. Well, here's one from before I had that one. So, okay, just finished. So see that little circle went away. So you click on there, and then, so you can see, just because I was doing it so messy, you can see like where I had kind of missed. So you'll start to learn as you do it, how to get better at it. So you can make it as big or as small as you want. And if I do this, like I try to put it somewhere so it kind of looks a little like you don't see like the cutoff of like my body or my hair. And then if you decide like, oh, maybe I want like a different color background, you just click and it'll tell you, it'll show you what you're doing in the moment, which is nice. Because sometimes you have to see it like while you're doing it. Let's say that you did black, but you were like, oh, it's a little like too harsh. Up in the top right-hand corner, there's a transparency, and you can take that away so it can be harsh or less. So you can do that with any color. You can also do that with the photo. So if you were doing, you wanted a photo in the background and then text over it, if you take the transparency down, you can still see the image, it's just not so sharp. So let's do something a little more bright. We'll do that one. And let's just say this is for like a new mom challenge. So text is over here on the left. You click text, there's going to be large letters and then a subheading and then a subheading under that. So if you were doing like 3 lines, it kind of suggests what you can do. And then all of these are free underneath as well. So there's certain texts that pair really well together. So it does it for you here. So if you feel like you see one on the left that you really like, you can do that as well. You would just click on the words and you can change it to whatever you want. And if there's something you don't want, if you decide you don't want it, over on the right-hand side, there's a little trash barrel. If you hit delete element, it'll just take away that one, but if you hit delete group, it'll take away the whole thing. So first I'll do like a little block. So there's different things you can choose for shapes. So if you wanted to have like a rectangle with words on it, or maybe you want a circle and then put the words inside. So whatever shape you want, you can choose. And it's just fun to play around with it, and you'll start to see what you like. So let's say I do that, and then, but I'm like, well, I wanted a different color. So this is where like your branding may start to come in. So if you have a brand and it's, for the ease of this, let's just say it's like a pink and turquoise, but you're like, oh, that's not the exact pink I want. And these are the only palettes you have at the right here. If you hit this plus sign, there's like an infinite amount of color. So let's say you wanted one that was more peach. And then say like after a while, you were like, those are my colors. I love it. You can see the color code here is right here. So you can write that down or copy it, put it somewhere like in your notes. And so whenever you need it, you just put that in. So I'll copy it and I'll show you. So let's say I have it at yellow. And then I want to change it. If I take this away and put in the color code, it comes back. So that's a good way to be consistent with color for your photos, like I was talking about yesterday. So you can do something like that. You can do, like say you wanted to do like overlapping shapes and have something like that. And just to like make it fun, you can do anything that like inspires you. You can change the colors again. Okay, so you can kind of get it. You just kind of play around with things like that. Then if you write text, so again, you can choose these from here or you can choose the heading. So I'll just choose this one. And then to change your font, up on the top left is all the font. So, you know, you kind of just play around with what you like. Again, start to see what your brand is and what feels like you, and try to use like 2 or 3 that you use all the time. So, and then I thought like a lot of times the ones you have will stay at the top. I always like Brusher, but probably for what I'm doing, I won't use that. All right, let's just use this one. Okay, so let's just say we're doing new Mama Bear challenge. So you can change the size if you want it smaller, if you want it bigger, depending on what it is that you want, how you want it to look. If you want the spacing different, like if you wanted those closer together, so if this was actually like this and you just were like, oh, I want it closer together, you hit spacing, and then you can change line height, and you could have them go closer and farther apart. So let's say that. And then let's say you wanted to put the date. So I would choose a smaller subtext. And we can write like January 20th to 27th. And again, any different fonts that you want. I use Troki actually a lot. Let's just say you want this a different color. You can go up here and say you wanted that yellow. That doesn't really look very good. So again, you kind of just play around with it. You can also add over here on the right hand side, if there was something, if you say you put a website in, let's add a website. Let's just say beachbody.com. And you wanted that to have a link. So you could have this little chain up here and you could put in a link like beachbody.com so that when they clicked on that, it would actually go to beachbody.com. So if you wanted to do that, and then you could even say like, you could do a little circle and like you could say click here and have it go pointing to that. So really it's just like playing around with it. I'm trying to think if there's much else. One way to make text stand out more is, I'll just change this to kind of show you. Let's say this was darker. So we'll make this white. So if you wanted to do something cool with your text too, you can just hit copy. So it created another one of these. You make the second one black. And you kind of just go over it a little bit. Go over it and to the left. And then you hit arrange back it kind of just has it like create a shadow so that it pops a little bit more. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would be fun to do. You can do, let's say I wanted to bring this down here just for different ideas. And let's say I wanted this, if you had a picture, like for recognition, I use this all the time. You know, you can put frames around things so that it makes it a little more pop a little bit more. And I'll just show you guys what I've done in the past. But once you have done everything that you like and you're ready to save it, you just hit download and then you save it however you want. So PNG is recommended for like higher quality. There's PDF and JPEG. So PDF, I will show you if you wanted to do like a freemium. So I'm not going to save this, but you guys kind of get the point. I think there's anything else over here. So all your uploads are always going to stay there. So like this was a What is Coaching event that I did once with Allie. Like you just make it your own. I've used this for recognition before, Success Club. And so like I did like a 3-day.
Canva, so Canvas without the s.com.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did like a freemium where I did like how to get rid of bloat in 3 days. And you just drag and drop photos and you just can change your font around. And I downloaded that as a PNG, as a PDF so that I could send it to people. So like this is the one that I created yesterday. You just take away the background and then this is pretty much what I showed you guys. It's just adding shapes and then your fonts. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions as of now, let me know, but I'll see if I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You can do things like I did like a new coach checklist just to make it pretty and just have new things for your coaches. Anything that you want to create, you can make it just look pretty and be you. I've created calendars, which are a little annoying to match up the lines with everything. But you really, like, the sky's the limit with what you can create, and it's all free. So it's nice to be able to have that option. So like Success Club, and you can just, like, I save this, and then every month you can just change the person's picture and their, like, whatever their Success Club number was. Like this was for, I was creating it for a What is Coaching event. So you can kind of just, there's all kinds of things. I don't think if there's anything else. I think that might be it. And this is like super basic Canva. So there are coaches on here that probably even know how to do like a lot more. When I do my team calls, I tell them I do something super simple just so they know what we're going over, like really anything that you can think of. And I just use the templates that they have, and then I just change it around a little bit, and it makes it super simple. So yeah, those are just some ideas for how to use it, but you can really use it for all parts of your business. This was for a new coach training. Just super simple. This I created just to show you guys that you can do, there's different layouts. So you can, if you want more than one picture, you can bring more than one picture in as well. That's under, I think it's under elements and then grids. But just kind of go through it. There's tons of free photos as well. So let's just say you, I'll do something real quick. Let's just use a free layout, a free background or something that's cute. You could even put in, like, you can search. So if you were like wanted to do ocean, so you can see if anything free would come up. So this one's free. I think I might have used that before. So that's free. And then if you wanted to find like an image of something. So let's, for example, it was like sun. It's going to give you all the options for sun, and there should be, sometimes there's one. So like these would be paid. But let's say you wanted, like, you can bring over, they have tons of free options, and then they have tons of ones that cost $1. Illustrations, same thing. So like free, all of these over here are free. So depending on what you're looking for. So if you don't have an upload of something, then you can always search for it up at the top, and it'll tell you what they have. There's 1 million images, like literally it says 1 million. So there's a lot of times there's something that they have that you don't have to search for. Sometimes I will just Google, if I'm looking for like a pink glittery background, I'll Google pink glitter background free, and free backgrounds will come up, and then you can just save that to your desktop, and then you can use that for the background. So there's tons of options, but they give you like lots of pretty options as well. So like you can just have fun with it and just like whatever vibe you're in, what you're trying to create. And again, there's tons of shapes, like all of these. Just you'll scroll through, and when you click on them, you can just see what it looks like, play around with it. There is lines. These are all the illustrations. And depending on like what time of year it is and things like that, they may have different things up. So they just make it fun and easy. And then even like charts and things like that, if like depending on what you're trying to create. But there's just so much stuff, way more than you probably need. All these cute little icons and things like that. So just play around with it. Like just the more you play around with it, the more fun you'll have, and you can kind of see like what it is that you, what it is that jives with you. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else that I use it for, or anything else that I didn't tell you guys that I wanted to. But yeah, that's like the basics of it. Super easy. It's just going to take getting used to, like the erasing of the background. Just after you do it a few times, it's super simple. Just remember you save it as a PNG, and that way it saves it without the background. And yeah, that's it. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you just post in the team page. And this week I'm still going to be sharing like my favorite apps, different websites and things like that. So if there's anything that you guys want to know, I'm happy to like research it if I'm not familiar with it, just to get you guys going so that you can create fun images to really just like create your brand and be excited about what you're sharing and sharing the business and what you're doing in a fun way. So thanks for hopping on, guys, the ones that were on. I will be sure to share this in the YouTube page. And yeah, so I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to stop recording.